In late 2019, Level 2 autonomous driving was becoming commonplace in real-world vehicles. As a regular Euro Truck Simulator player, I was also aware of the benefits this technology could provide in the virtual world. At the time, there were a few demo videos of private or unreleased autopilot functionality for ETS2, but there were no publicly available products. So I built ETS Freeway Assist, a Python application which initially provided traffic-aware cruise control for the simulator. This functionality is demonstrated here. Note the computer vision overlay in the bottom right corner. Freeway Assist is analysing the gap to the car ahead and feeding accelerate and decelerate commands to the player's vehicle to maintain a safe distance. It even applies emergency brakes if the traffic ahead slows suddenly. So as we watch a direct feed of the computer vision window, let's explore how this worked. The two key components were real-world machine learning models that could identify vehicles, and other open source projects that were able to calculate distance to the vehicle ahead based on degree of certainty that there was a vehicle ahead and the size of that vehicle relative to the area of interest. I then wrote some code which fed accelerate and decelerate commands to the simulator based on distance to the vehicle ahead, and the end result was the traffic-aware cruise control you see here. There were two main forks of the product, one used when driving a car and one used when driving a truck, as the different heights and performance characteristics of the two vehicle types require different response times and input strengths. For cars, I was able to expand Freeway Assist to include Autosteer on freeways, as shown here. The computer vision window in the bottom right corner displays the lane lines as seen by Freeway Assist. This functionality was adapted from an open source project originally developed for a racing game. This code could identify lane lines via contrast-based edge detection and send steer left and steer right commands based on whether the vehicle was heading towards the left or right line. If the vehicle was tracking straight, no input would be applied until a variance in distance between the lines was detected. In addition to tweaking the detection and input strength to suit ETS, I also wrote code to handle situations where there was only one visible line. In this case, the vehicle would continue applying steering input in the current direction in an attempt to seek out the opposite lane line. Although this led to some ping-pong behaviour, it did successfully keep the vehicle in lane. In this clip we see Freeway Assist successfully negotiating a gentle curve on a freeway. The feature was somewhat limited by processing time, so autosteer was only really effective, up to 80 km per hour. The vision system was also able to identify other objects in addition to vehicles and lane lines. For example, it could identify traffic lights. Building on Freeway Assist's existing ability to make brake applications based on distance from an object, I was able to expand the functionality to automatically stop for traffic signals on city streets, provided that traffic-aware cruise control was active. This functionality was ultimately left in an imperfect state. It would stop for traffic lights of any colour, including green, and sometimes stop short before the hold line. Freeway Assist for cars had a couple of extra features which were not based on computer vision. For example, when the player activated a turn signal, the vehicle could perform an automatic lane change. There was also a pretty cool yet somewhat unnerving Autopark macro. If a player lined up their side mirror with the edge of a parking bay, such as this one lined with crates, and pressed a key, the car would then perform the required inputs to park itself automatically in that space. At the time it was difficult to prove this was actually real, hence the next clip, where the automatic manoeuvre is performed whilst looking at the ground. Although Freeway Assist reached almost 150,000 people over its lifespan, and was actually used by a small percentage of that audience, it was never really in a state where it was ready for mass adoption. This was largely because it required command line skills to install, and in order for it to work properly, some very specific configuration was required in the simulator itself. The product was also based on certain versions of dependencies which became outdated or unavailable over time, so I eventually retired the product. As of 2023, the simulator itself now comes with traffic-aware cruise control by default, and various other autopilot add-ons by other developers, such as EasyPilot and ETS Lane Assist, are available. These are linked in the video description. The Freeway Assist code is still publicly archived and is linked in the video description. If the logic or code within helps your own projects, please feel free to adopt it as a source of inspiration. Just please don't attempt to install or use it in ETS. After all, it is a long since retired and deprecated product.